Good morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and today another very detailed weather update coming your way. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and leave a like on the video as well. Your support is greatly appreciated. Today we're going to be talking about some rain and snow expected across the southern states, including Tasmania, Victoria and New South Wales. A couple of cold fronts expected there. We're also going to be talking about some rainfall up in far north Queensland and just over the tropics in general. There's not much, but it is unseasonal and we'll take a look at it. And then Western Australia, a series of strong cold fronts and rainfall is expected to blow through there, and that could be amounting to some significant accumulations. All of that plus more coming up in today's weather update. So we're going to start things off down in the southern states, as we always do. We've had some rain and snow overnight across Tasmania. Nothing too crazy, but still a couple of millimetres has been reported there, and the rain and snow is still continuing throughout the course of today. We've also had some rainfall and snowfall up in the highlands of New South Wales and Victoria. However, like I have said, same story with Tasmania. The majority of it is clearing out now. There were some very good accumulations about 36 hours ago on Saturday, but they have since cleared out, so that is some good news there. But a little bit more is on the cards throughout the course of today. Not really expecting anything significant to be blowing through. There is, like I said, a couple of showers moving through for the Victorian coastlines and also the South Australian coastlines as well here and there. Up to about Adelaide, there will be an odd shower today. The west coast of Tasmania are expecting up to 15 millimetres of just streaming rainfall that will be coming throughout the course of the day. Also a little bit of rainfall for the eastern coast of the Gippsland region in Victoria, and also a little bit of rainfall up the New South Wales coastline as well, all being powered by a low pressure system in the Tasman Sea, which is bringing some pretty strong wind gusts, all things considered, to the New South Wales coastline. You can see a ship offshore right now with winds of 65 kilometres an hour, Lord Howe Island off your screen up with winds of 55 kilometres an hour as well, and then here at Gabbo Island Lighthouse just offshore from Malakuta, 46 kilometres an hour, and a couple of strong wind gusts as well here and there. At Cyclone Island, the windiest place in the nation, 40 kilometres an hour, and expected to increase throughout the course of the day as well. But that's today's weather. It's not really interesting. There isn't too much happening throughout the course of today, so we're going to bring the rainfall forecast up now and take a look at what we are expecting for the next couple of days. So you can see it here. We are expecting, as we play this model run here through, for a little bit of rainfall to pick up on the west coast of Tasmania throughout the course of today, and then into tomorrow as well. There'll be some showers and the odd snow shower and flurry up in the Victorian and New South Wales highlands throughout Monday. The rainfall giving the southern states, especially Victoria and New South Wales, a complete break from it through Tuesday and Wednesday. It's going to be followed up by some very cool nights and some cooler than usual days as well, so expect temperatures to be substantially below average up there. A couple of degrees during the day and many degrees overnight. We could be seeing overnight minimum about 7 or 8 degrees below average for one or two locations, especially in the northern parts of New South Wales, where temperatures are expected to go at or below freezing overnight, but it will warm up to a nice day. Wednesday, we're expecting a cold front to approach the South Australian coastline. That's going to be impacting communities from Ceduna through the Eyre Peninsula right down towards Robe and Mount Gambier Wednesday evening, with some light to moderate rainfall, only a couple of millimetres expected, nothing crazy at all. The west coast of Tasmania as well, expecting a couple of drops of rainfall Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Same with Victoria. Not really anything heavy, just a couple of millimetres here and there, before another cold front starts to build itself up on Thursday, and it really does get itself up to a significant intensity, and this one here could definitely be severe as it approaches Tasmania. Expecting some damaging winds, maybe even destructive wind gusts embedded in this cold front, averaging 90 kilometres an hour and gusting to 125 kilometres an hour, with some heavy rainfall as well on Thursday night into early Friday morning. We're also expecting this cold front to be dragging in a little bit of moisture across the central parts of New South Wales. This could equate to a couple of thunderstorms ahead of it Thursday afternoon here and there. They're not going to be severe and certainly nothing of a summer storm nature, but there could be a couple of showers with the odd storm here and there in the central northern parts of the New South Wales agricultural districts outside of Orange and Dubbo. Again, not expecting anything crazy there, but just a heads up that they are on the cards before Thursday night after the cold front does sweep through and the temperatures do plummet across the mountain ranges. We could be seeing a few snow flurries on Friday morning rather, and again a continuance of the thunderstorms Friday late afternoon around Tamworth up towards Lismore and Tweed Head. So just a heads up there that we are expecting some storms and showers in the afternoon hours, and they will resemble the summer nature by around Friday afternoon. It will be a humid day. It'll also be quite a warm day up there, followed by a cool, or after a cool night. We could be seeing a few storms up there, so that's going to be a very interesting weather pattern. Again, nothing to be worrying about throughout. They are going to be non-severe thunderstorms before yet another cold front builds itself up on Friday and through Saturday and brings some light rainfall to Tasmania and Victoria, and also some snowfall accumulations to the Victorian Highlands and also in towards New South Wales as well, expecting snow as far north as Orange and the Barrington Tops. There could be a couple of centimetres of wet snow up there. Not expecting anything to settle, but over the course of Saturday and Sunday, a few centimetres expected, and about 15 centimetres expected once again through the Victorian Highlands and through the New South Wales Highlands. Behind this weather system, though, there's going to be a high pressure system building itself back up over the top of Tasmania, and you know what that means. It's going to be a return to the freezing cold nights later next weekend into Monday and Tuesday towards the end of July. It's going to be a very cold end to July and a very cold start to August by the looks of things from this high pressure system, but that's looking very far out into the future, so we'll be touching on that another day in another forecast update. Now, in terms of rainfall accumulations across Tasmania, South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales, there's nothing crazy here, nothing eye-catching apart from the 150 millimetres or so on the west coast of Tasmania. Again, stock standard stuff, and that's to be expected with a week of just consistent rainfall that's going to be heading their way. 20 millimetres a day for the next week certainly does add up to that 150 millimetre total, so that checks out. Some very wet conditions are possible. I believe we said Friday and Saturday, so just a heads up there that we could be seeing some minor flooding across Tasmania there. Also some heavy falls expected in Victoria as well, outside of Melbourne up towards the mountains just outside of Melbourne. We could be seeing up towards 50 millimetres there. A lot of this will actually fall as snowfall. Once you get up towards Mount Buller and Mount Hotham, we could be seeing this 30 millimetres turn into about 20 centimetres of snow. Also around Thredbo and that sort of area, expecting about 30 centimetres of snow over the next 10 days, about 20 centimetres rather, and a little bit of rainfall rather. And then where these storms are expected to be firing up, we could be seeing accumulations up towards 25 millimetres, but just looking at this forecast here, they look very hit and miss. So don't bet your money that one place is going to be getting rainfall and the other place won't be. It's going to be very hit and miss rainfall. It's going to be inconsistent. There'll be places picking up 25 millimetres and places picking up zips. So don't get your hopes up there. This is kind of going to be the forecast that I'm going to give on the day of the event. So make sure you're watching out next Thursday and Friday for the forecast on these thunderstorms. Even if they're still on the forecast, we will be taking a look at them and just seeing what they are expected to do. The South Australian coastline, however, looking pretty miserable. The rainfall kind of stops at Eucla in Western Australia. A couple of drops still expected along the South Australian coastline. Ceduna expecting a really hit and miss 5 millimetres over the next 10 days. Port Lincoln about 20 millimetres of good rainfall coming through. That's just going to be light to moderate falls from the next two cold fronts sweeping in. And then down towards Mount Gambier, a little bit wetter there. They are a little bit further south and they're going to be copying more of the rainfall headed for Tasmania, about 50 millimetres there over the next 10 days. But in terms of rainfall, nothing too crazy apart from when you go down towards Tasmania. Now, the snowfall map you're going to have to take with a big grain of salt here. The Eastern Blue is calling for snowfall in all sorts of weird locations, such as the Melbourne metro area, but I do reckon the accumulations around the mountains and the mountainous heights are accurate. The mountains outside of Melbourne expecting 15 millimetres, up towards centimetres rather, up towards Thredbo about 15 to 20 centimetres as well. Same with Mount Buller and Mount Hotham, expecting about 12 to 15 centimetres apiece, and some very cold nights that you can see here. Once the temperatures in this high pressure system get itself embedded over the mountains, so the temperatures are going to be plummeting. And like I said, around the Barrington Tops and Orange, expecting a few centimetres, maybe 1 or 2 centimetres at the most of very wet snow mixed in with some light to moderate rainfall, and nothing of the settling nature as well. So again, don't get your hopes up. It's going to be nothing like the system that passed over about a week ago. It is going to be a lot weaker than that and dumping a lot less snow. Tasmania goes without saying, expecting snow and quite a bit of it as well in the mountainous areas. It's very typical for this time of the year, even though I am saying severe weather every now and then from these fronts, especially the one that's going to be impacting Tasmania later next week. It is by no means a problem that is worth worrying about, because it is certainly weather that is very much expected for this time of the year. I'm just going to switch back over to the rainfall accumulation map, and this is going to lead us very nicely into the next part of the video. Queensland is expecting some pretty hit and miss rainfall over the next 10 days, and the same thing with the Northern Territory and the tropical parts of Western Australia as well. Now, what's driving this unseasonably wet and almost tropical pattern? I know this is only 15 millimetres, but keep in mind 15 millimetres in July is for some locations 10 times more than their average rainfall. their decile 5 rainfall. So this is something that is certainly worth talking about. It could be some of these locations' wettest July totals for a couple of years. So this is certainly, like I said, something worth talking about. And it's going to be spiking up sometime in the middle parts of this week. We're going to be talking about the Queensland coastline in just a hot second. But from Wednesday and into Thursday, we're looking at a trough extending out of this cold front here and a bunch of low pressure over the top of the Northern Territory and Western Australia. And this low pressure is going to be driving the energy necessary for some showers and thunderstorms from Thursday night into Friday night as well. They're going to be very much afternoon storms, very hit and miss and very weak indeed. But they could be dumping a few millimeters here and there in the remote communities of the Northern Territory and into Queensland. Again, absolutely nothing worth worrying about. We've got them next weekend as well into the end parts of July on Monday and Tuesday the 29th and the 30th. Absolutely nothing worth worrying about, but just a heads up, there could be a little bit of rainfall across central Australia, and that's all that needs to be said. We've also got a little bit of rainfall coming in for far north Queensland and the Queensland coast just in general. We're going to be seeing a continuance to the dry conditions, the cool dry conditions over the coming couple of days, but come Tuesday afternoon we're expecting a few drizzly showers to stream in up around the Cassowary coast outside of Innisfail and Tarlee. We'll be seeing a few showers up there, and on Tuesday expecting at most maybe 10 or 15 millimeters up there. Nothing crazy in terms of rainfall. Wednesday we're also expecting a continuance to the rainfall up there. We could be seeing up to 20 millimeters, especially for locations around Babinda or Innisfail outside of Belen and Kerr. We could be seeing some wet places out there. Again, the rainfall won't be penetrating too far inland. Ravenshoe expecting basically nothing. Same thing with Atherton and Mareeba, even less rainfall out there. And Mount Carbine also not expecting any rainfall from this weather system. It's purely going to be exclusive to those coastal mountainous areas, the places that typically receive the most rainfall out of these sort of weather systems. They're the only ones going to be receiving rainfall. A couple of drizzly showers expected to extend as far south as Townsville and Ayr as well. Again, normal for this time of the year, but again, not so normal in the sense that we're expecting up towards 50 millimeters in a week. That is quite a lot of rainfall for this part of far north Queensland for this time of the year. It does happen every other year, but still quite a bit of rainfall is possible up here. And I would not be surprised if Wednesday and Thursday we did see some locations picking up 50, maybe 60 or 70 millimeters on both days outside of Innisfail. I know the rainfall accumulations here are only calling for peak accumulations up towards 35 or 40 millimeters here. Up in the Daintree, they're a little bit more aggressive, above 50 millimeters, but I do still believe that rainfall up here can be about twice, maybe even 3 times as high as the peak forecast from the forecast models. So just be on the lookout around rivers if you do live in a very flood prone area that is expecting up towards 30 or 40 millimeters on this forecast map. Then just keep a very close eye out to the weather warnings and the flood warnings from the Bureau of Meteorology on Wednesday afternoon and into Thursday morning, because there is a very slim chance that rivers up here in an already saturated catchment could go towards minor or even moderate flooding. So like I said, just keep a close eye and ear out. That's enough talk on the tropics. They're really not expected to fire up for another couple of months, so it is interesting that we're seeing this sort of rainfall fire up, but it is about a week away still, and we'll keep discussing it until the day comes that it is actually going to be upon us. We're going to now move down south towards the southwestern corner of Western Australia and talk about the whole mess of rainfall that's expected. This is very typical from a winter front here, so this is absolutely fantastic to see, but let's break it down and see how much rainfall is expected and when. Well, it's going to be continuing throughout the course of this weekend. Today is going to be a bit of a miserable day with some rain and showers here and there for the Perth metro area, expecting up towards 4 millimeters for some locations. Dwelling Up's already picked up 15 millimeters in the past 24 hours, so some very healthy accumulations have been reported. The rainfall will continue through Monday morning and into Monday afternoon as well before it starts to really pick up as a developing low pressure system and cold front do sweep up from the south on Monday afternoon and into Monday evening, bringing some showers and storms to the southwest Capes from about 4 p.m. and showers and storms to the Perth metro area from about 10 or 11 p.m. Probably be a little bit later than that. The storms won't start up until very early Tuesday morning, but there could be some very isolated and very heavy rainfall accumulations here. You can see on this forecast precipitation map up here, north of Two Rocks and Yanchep, we're looking at some storms here and between 10 to 15 millimeters an hour, which is some very heavy rainfall on the forecast models. So just a heads up that there will be some pockets of very heavy rainfall here Into the southwest as well, around Katanning and Mount Barker, expecting some good rainfall too. And over the next 10 days, they'll be picking up some good accumulations, as you will very soon see. By around early Tuesday morning, the rainfall will be clearing out of the southwest capes and communities such as Albany and Walpole. Perth will continue with the wet conditions until about mid-afternoon on Tuesday before the rainfall fully does clear out there. But the worst of it will be done by around 8 or 9 a.m. Just make sure you're taking extra care on the roads Tuesday morning on your commute to work. The rainfall will stick around throughout Tuesday, but it will mainly be coastal before easing off completely on Wednesday as this cold front moves further up into the wheat belt, with some showers and storms still expected to persist north of Killarney and Dalwallinu through Tuesday afternoon and into Wednesday. We could be seeing those showers move into the Gascoyne and into the Goldfields as well. So it's going to be some pretty widespread and some pretty healthy rain here. In fact, rainfall accumulations over the next 3 days expected to be really healthy across a lot of the southwest. Some areas around Perth expecting up towards 50 millimetres. The bulk of the rainfall will be between 10 and 30 millimetres. I reckon Perth will be picking up about 20 millimetres. Some suburbs will pick up 35 millimetres, maybe even a little bit more. I reckon our southern suburbs will get the majority of the rainfall. Areas around Collie will pick up at least 40, maybe 50 millimetres. But again, once you get further south towards Albany and so forth, I think the rainfall will become a little bit more hit and miss just because of the nature of this slow-moving weather system. The rainfall in the northern parts of the wheat belt as well, anywhere north of sort of, I guess, Bindoon or Gingin, we're expecting the rainfall to become a little bit more hit and miss, and anywhere north of Great Eastern Highway as well, the rainfall will be very hard to predict, but still a pretty steady between 5 and 15 millimetres is expected. As far north as Mount Magnet and Kew, a couple of millimetres expected there, and a couple of millimetres expected as far out as Carnarvon. That's nothing though. As you can see on the 10-day accumulations, we've got a lot more rainfall coming through. It's not so much for the inland communities, but it is certainly for the coast. Expecting steady falls to continue through Wednesday and Thursday. Showers continuing in the Perth metro area through Thursday. Showers also continuing as far south as sort of Albany through Thursday and into Friday, as well as another little cold front brushes up on the southwest capes. Could be bringing some damaging winds Thursday night and into early Friday morning. Very typical winter's day on Friday. It's going to be cool. It's going to be wet. Some light to moderate showers are going to be in the vicinity of Perth, and then the rainfall will finally ease off by around lunchtime Friday. It looks like we might have a dry start to the weekend before Saturday night and into Sunday morning. Another cold front brushes up. That's going to equate to some more rainfall, but again, not too much in the wake of it before a dry end to the month by the looks of things to the southwest. But that also means under the power of a high pressure system, we could also be looking at some very cool conditions. They'll most likely be associated into the goldfields. I think the wheat belt and the coastal regions will be slightly more milder with some more average temperatures for overnight lows, but still the chance of some below average temperatures is possible. It looks like some above average temperatures throughout the days as well. It's just starting to warm up now as you get further north, up into the northern parts of the Gascoyne and the southern parts of the Pilbara. The days are starting to approach the low 30s, so that is very good to see. Summer is certainly around the corner for those locations. They have a very short winter, and it is by the end of August that they do start to warm up. So be warned, there's going to be more videos discussing the heat up in the northern parts of Western Australia and the northern parts of Australia as a whole as well on this channel. But on that note, we're really starting to ramble here. Thank you so much for watching the video to this point. Your company has been greatly appreciated this Sunday morning. I hope you have a fantastic day today doing whatever you do. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. If you're interested in weather around the southwest and the southwest east of Australia rather, there is an awful lot to be talking about, so you do not want to be missing out on any of it. We've got a lot to be talking about over the next 10 days, so make sure you are subscribed because, like I said, you do not want to be missing it. If I've left anything unanswered, please do consider asking me in the comment section down below. I'd love to answer your questions or give you a forecast for your location if this video hasn't made perfect sense to you. A special shout out also to the channel sponsors. Their names are on screen right now. I could not run this show without them. And also please do consider leaving me a weather report for your location in the comment section down below as well. That would be fantastic too. I love reading about what weather your location is currently experiencing. That is all for me today, and I'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.